My name is Stephanie, and this is my daughter, Maddie. On January 20th, Maddie received her second dose of the Pfizer COVID vaccine. She developed severe chest pain, and the way she described the chest pain, it feels like my heart is being ripped out through my neck.
I'm a bags rebel, can't say I'm looking for trouble, yeah. You can't handle when I step up to the mantle, yeah. Ay, bags rebel, these sheep are designed for the heat. See them shaking when I'm up on the beat. They can't handle the words that I speak, yeah. Bags rebel, I'ma stay woke till you sleep. After the jab, your body gets weak, cause you stuck up in your bed for a weekend. I'm a mask rebel, no I will not wear your muzzle. You can't cover my mouth and my brain stays free. I will never bow to a bounty. I've said it all time and time again. You won't catch me vaccine with it. I ain't gonna lose when we all can win. Death rate is less than 1%. Consider to the hood singer saying that it's good. What you doing to your blood? Gonna end up in a crypt saying you're free thinker, but you're still reading a script. Cause the vaccine is safe and the vaccine is clean. If you give it back your freedom, everything you need, just take the jab and bend the knee. But I know my people gonna live free. They can try to hunt me down, make the rounds, but another vaccine gonna get me down, and then my heart fails. Oh well, we say the truth and they be hating that, but I'm on it, say it fast and never stop. And when I'm rapping, even when I'm out of breath, you know I gotta do it fast. And then we marching into the streets. It is a patriotic fest. They try to shut me down, and I won't call it. Give the axe rebel with all my boys, Bryce and Gray. Yeah, we make good noise. And Forgiata with his Rolls Royce. We on the scene and on the streets. We on the track and spitting stats. But I gotta tell you that I am a bags rebel. Can't say I'm looking for trouble. Yeah, you can't handle when I step up to the mantle. Yeah. Bags rebel, these sheep are designed for the heat. See them shaking when I'm up on the beat. They can't handle the words that I speak. Yeah, I'm a bags rebel, I'ma stay woke till you sleep. After the jab, your body gets weak, cause you stuck up in your bed for a weekend. I'm a mask rebel, no I will not wear your muzzle. You can't cover my mouth and my brain stays free. I will never bow to a bounty.
Bags rebel, they lab test you and mass check you. Chips that can detect the virus. Sounds like the last devil revelation. Got vaccine cards, but next is registration for unvaccinated, while Dr. Fauci is celebrating, comparing us to 9/11. Ignore BLM violence. If you speak out against the narrative, you bout to get cited. Forced vaccines, dictators always gonna require compliance. 2-way is just in case the government becoming the tyrants.
Hold up, breathe. No mask on my face, might sneeze. Vaccine, now you're weak in the knees. Got me feeling like Constantine.
Yeah, bags rebel, these sheep are designed for the heat. See them shaking when I'm up on the beat. They can't handle the words that I speak. Yeah, bags rebel, I'ma stay woke till you sleep. After the jab, your body gets weak, cause you stuck up in your bed for a weekend. I'm a mask rebel, no I will not wear your muzzle. You can't cover my mouth and my brain stays free. I will never bow to a bounty.
Vax rebel, bought as a criminal. They killing these kids, whoa. The system is evil, yeah. Time to wake them up. Wake the people up. United we stand, divided we fall. Repatriate stand tall. So Chandler, watch out for the people hating on them. You too educated, they want you to fail, homie. They probably gonna lock us up for speaking the truth.
Mass formation psychosis.
They wanna poison me and poison you.
Because what's happening is not right.
If you want it, come and get it. Catch that doctor's office visit. I don't care if Donald made it. It don't matter, I won't take it. Bags rebel, can't say I'm looking for trouble. Yeah, you can't handle when I step up to the mantle. Yeah, bags rebel, these sheep are designed for the heat. See them shaking when I'm up on the beat. They can't handle the words that I speak. Yeah, bags rebel, I'ma stay woke till you sleep. After the jab, your body gets weak, cause you stuck up in your bed for a weekend. I'm a mask rebel, no I will not wear your muzzle. You can't cover my mouth and my brain stays free. I will never bow to a bounty.
Our government is out of control, and they are lawless. They completely disregard bioethics. They completely disregard the federal common rule. These mandates.
It truly never does get old, does it? That last 10 seconds before the beginning of your favorite Crump Live or Chandler Brief episode, that great da 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 da, is how you know you are about to get down to a great episode. How are you guys doing? My name is Chandler Crump, and you are now tuned in to Crump Live, our show we do every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8, unless I'm sick or otherwise traveling, of which both have happened in the last 2 weeks, so obviously we haven't been here much. But it is Thursday, April 14th. Whoops, I'm so used to it being March. March is a long month. Let me tell you guys something. So used to it being March. Anyways, April 14th, 2022. And as you guys know, the world is in shambles. Let me tell you something. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel in the terms of censorship. We've talked about this a little bit earlier today, and I'm just here to touch up a little bit on the subjects as we spoke about earlier today, and give you guys the round-the-cuff deal of what we know so far today, and what are to be the future developments coming very soon. Now, as you guys know, earlier today I left off on a cliffhanger, basically telling you Twitter's going to be holding a roundtable in a few hours, and then we'll see what happens. Well, that was at 3. The roundtable was scheduled to be held at 3 Twitter time, I believe, so that then came around to, was it 5 or 6 our time? I don't know. There's a bunch of time zones involved. I had all the numbers back like a few hours ago. They're all gone from my head now. But what we do know is that the roundtable has now happened, and we have a little bit of information coming from it. Now, it was a private thing, but we have some small details of it, so we're going to jump right into it. First things first, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. Shout out to my folks over on Rumble and Getter. I appreciate y'all the most, although my YouTube people are pretty dang good too. Shout out to all y'all. Let's just get jumped in to what we are talking about today. And that is the fact, oh, whoops. Sometimes, let me tell you something. Sometimes it just does this. All right, isn't it that one? Hold on, where is it? All right, give me a second here. I don't know why this is not catching up. There we are. Okay, cool. Anyways, Twitter CEO tells employees that the board is still evaluating an Elon Musk takeover. And they say, I think that's just a random thing actually. This is from The Verge, which is a very interesting publication. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal told employees Thursday that the company was still evaluating a $43 billion offer from Elon Musk. Let me zoom in a little bit more. To buy the company and take it private, setting the stage for a potentially drawn-out feud with the world's richest person. After clips of the songs I Say a Little Prayer and I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys played, Agrawal launched into a 25-minute Q&A session with employees Thursday, according to a person in attendance. He didn't say when the board would have an answer to Musk's offer, or which way it was leaning, frustrating some who expected a more detailed explanation. The board would follow a rigorous process and make a decision in the best interest of our shareholders. Agrawal, who took over as CEO of Twitter last November for Jack Dorsey, fielded concerns from employees about the future of the social network. If Musk were to take it over, at least one employee asked about the possibility of future layoffs, which Agrawal said wouldn't be dictated by individual performance ratings. In response to another question about what would happen to employees' stock options if Twitter would take it private, he said it was too early to speculate. The emergency call was held during a focus week for Twitter employees, in which they had Monday off and were encouraged to be heads down on projects and take few meetings. Prior to the meeting, Musk had criticized the possibility of board action against the deal, saying it would be utterly indefensible not to put this offer to a shareholder vote. In an interview earlier in the day, the TED 2022 conference in Vancouver, Musk said his bid wasn't about making money and that he didn't care about the economics of it all. Instead, he said he wanted Twitter to protect free speech and open up its algorithm to outside scrutiny, which is something that we've all been asking for a long while now, and it's clear to see why he wants to dig into this. Let's dig into some of his tweets briefly. Now, as you guys know, earlier today we discussed the fact that a Saudi prince took quite a deal of offense to Elon Musk's buy today, his buy offer. He says, I don't believe that the proposed offer by Elon Musk comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter, given its growth prospects. Being one of the largest and long-term shareholders of Twitter, Kingdom KHC and I reject this offer. And then here's a screenshot of a tweet from 2015, which is a long while ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it really is, of the Saudi prince with, well, a tweet and a trophy of his earning. And Elon then commented under this and said, interesting. Just 2 questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own, directly and indirectly? What are the kingdom's views on journalistic freedom of speech? I think if you asked the kingdom directly what their thoughts on freedom of speech were, that would be their response. But Elon still had plenty more to say. He actually put out a poll regarding this, and Elon Well, he got quite the response here, with 1.4 million votes in just, what was that, 4 hours or so? Taking Twitter private at $45 should be up to shareholders, not the board. With 84% of those 1.4 million, which is, I'm pretty sure, well over a million of those votes being for yes, with a measly 16% being no. I think he's got a pretty good shot here, at least the court of public opinion being on his side. Now, of course, this is on his account, but it's also on Twitter. And as you guys can clearly see, if we just go to twitter.com, the top story of the day for the entire day, just go to trending. The number one story has been, oh, well, it's Rihanna, of course, because something happened with her. But Elon Musk was trending number one solidly for well over 10, 15 hours, and is still in the top 10. And I'm pretty sure if none of this Rihanna mess was going on, or Cardi B, whatever it is, would still be number one. And of course, it's filled with different people saying many different things about it. We don't need to jump into all of it, but there's a lot going on amongst that. So this is, I'd say, a really good indication of how much people are interested in seeing this go to shareholders. A shareholder vote will be pretty massive. There's a good amount of shareholders involved with Twitter. I mean, it's a big company, lots of shares. People want to get their voices heard. So Mike Cernovich, as you guys know, is a very big figure, commented under this and said, why is Saudi Arabia so obsessed with blocking the deal, and why is the regime media covering this up? Elon Musk replied and said, good question. Big stuff, truly, coming from Elon, coming from Twitter, and that brings the question that I've been asking, is he a warrior for speech? I mean, a lot of folks are curious about it. Is he somebody that we can trust? And the Chandler brief we had earlier today, there's a good amount of people in the comments saying, I don't know if I can fully trust Elon, and I'm right there with you. I don't know if I want to put all my eggs into some random billionaire, even if he's the billionaire behind SpaceX and Tesla, which have both been independent companies that have made amazing strides in their own innovations, whether it be in the field of electric cars or whether it be getting to space. Because yes, during the period of time of the Obama administration, we did not go to space simply in and of ourselves. We discontinued the space shuttle years ago, and we just simply did not have any way to get up there. Elon Musk provided that to us with his Falcon rockets and the other kinds. I'm not too studied up on SpaceX, despite the fact I'm a big space nerd, but I know that he is heavily involved in those sorts of things. He's an innovator. He's the one that is willing to do what nobody else is willing to do. And this is yet another step of it. But there's a lot of folks who have quite a bit to say about it. In fact, there's big companies like BlackRock, for example, which have decided to up their purchases of Twitter to overtake Elon, and they're now at 10%. That happened earlier today as well. And in fact, as you can see, Vanguard, which is another company that owns a percentage. Oh, I must have got it wrong. Vanguard, it's the other way around. Vanguard is the one that upped its stake and now owns 10%. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a bidding war happening in a way between people buying and spending billions of dollars on this company. JP Morgan, BlackRock, Morgan, Vanguard are all institutional investors. I believe they own over 60% combined. Considering $41 billion is nothing to institutions managing trillions in assets, I hope they collectively say screw off. He's got me praying for banks. Really shows you where they stand. Really, I mean, can you be surprised with the Ukraine flag in their bio? But here's a really good one right here. So let me get this straight. The progressive left is now rooting for Saudi Arabia, Wall Street, Vanguard, and BlackRock against free speech, liberty, and the dude who makes electric cars and is going to Mars. What? Welcome to the left in 2022, where all it takes for somebody that you've been hounding as a true visionary for years, literally saying when the gas prices were skyrocketing, just go buy an electric car, it's not that hard. Elon Musk is making some pretty good Teslas, and he's got the Starlink. Please, Elon, open up Starlink for Ukraine, which he did. Please, Elon, give us rockets so that we can go to space and launch all of our people onto the moon, or I guess the International Space Station, which he did. But you're going to turn around and say, when this guy is interested in free speech, this is a big problem. It's obviously these people are scared. If you see Vanguard and BlackRock leverage their Twitter shares to engage in an anti-Elon activism, then you know the threat to the regime is real. There's a lot of just bang up tweets like this available all over the platform, which is honestly true to see. There's a lot of people on here that want this to happen. Ali Best Ducky says, I don't want billionaire oligarchs running Twitter. Thank goodness the humble plebeians at Vanguard saved us from that. True. Unfortunately, Elon isn't the only thing in the news. And yes, I may have used this segue earlier today, but it still applies just as well as it did before. Because the President of the United States is embarrassing himself on the international stage. This was President Joe Biden just earlier today after I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure it was a bang up, just out top of the line speech, really knocked it out of the park, did everything he needed to do as president, and resounded the American people with hope and pride and prosperity and confidence in their nation. What did he do after the speech? Well, you may have read the tweet and spoiled yourself, but let's just watch.
America. God bless you all.
Joe, whose hand are you shaking, Joe?
Rub my leg down.
Oh, I get it. No, back in the day, let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. Back in the day, Joe Biden once said, if you're, thinking about whether you're for Trump or me, you ain't black. And a little joke I made back then after having my blackness revoked is that I'm transparent. So clearly, this is actually one of my brethren right here. I'm actually proud of Joe Biden for making amends with the transparent people of America, and he's so much so he's ready to stand by them as he gives them a speech and shake their hand. Unfortunately, they're so transparent, in fact, they can't even see their hand, which means this must be a real Trump supporter right here, I should say. This guy right here, he must have been a real Trump supporter if he's that transparent. Although, maybe he's just not shaking Joe's hand, I don't know. The other one, too. In all seriousness, he really does look like he's just looking around. Rebecca, your comment confused me for a second. She said, lol, Chandler's a white supremacist like Clarence Thomas and Tim Scott. I was thinking you were a hate comment for a second. I was like, that's kind of mean. And I was like, wait, Rebecca Kaplan? Rebecca, are you hacked? I had to read that back a few seconds, but no, she's just pulling a Biden. She's just pulling a Biden. Of course, I'm.
And you ain't black.
It is what it is. No, this is one of my brethren right here. This might be Tim Scott or Thomas Sowell, maybe. I don't know. How tall is Thomas Sowell? He looks like he's towering over Biden right here. In all seriousness, though, this is really sad to see the president of the United States looking so clueless. There's nobody else on the stage with him. There's somebody, backstage to the side, and he looks like he's finally looking over, maybe in his direction now. But this is sad. This is really sad. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Even the guy over there is looking around like, wait, is this part of the script? Is this part of the show? And as you can see, the transparent people are slinking back. So this was in North Carolina today, as you can see, evidenced by the flag with a massive NC on it. Yes, I am very mean about state flags. But somebody made an amazing meme out of this, and I just have to show you it. I just have to show you it.
Watching. Excuse my back.
Chocolate chip.
Excuse my back.
Oh my gosh. It's too good. It really is too good what these people are doing. Even the smoke is so accurate. One more time so you guys can see it just a little bit better.
Excuse my back. Excuse my back.
It's too good. It really is too good. I don't know what to tell y'all. That's the president. So I had to repost this. I think if I can go back in my feed, I think I can go through his feed. I reposted this. Said, the memes don't stop. Joe, what are you doing? What are you doing, Joe? Joe, you're incompetent. You're out of your mind. You're out of your depth, Joe. Just go back to the basement. I know my Trump impression is plenty to scoff at. The phrase goes, nothing to scoff at. Mine is plenty to scoff at. Go ahead, do your scoffing now. In fact, I'll do it myself. Just a pure scoff right there. The memes don't stop, though. I don't have a good Trump impression. But either way, there is some madness happening with Joe Biden right now. And unfortunately, you might not be able to talk about this on Twitter for long. Curzon says it's bad. Come on, Curzon. Throw me a bone. Cut me some slack. I did fine. No, but clearly, talking about this, sharing these types of videos may not be allowed on Twitter for long, but we'll see what happens with Elon Musk and him standing up for free speech. Aaron's scoffing at me. Curzon is laughing at me. Come on, guys. Aaron's also saying, I want some ice cream. You want some chocolate chip, Aaron? Well, first you gotta
rub my leg down.
If you want to get
Billions
of chocolate chip, which, for the record, even though the chocolate chip is brown,
and you ain't black,
because the chocolate chip ain't black. Because obviously you was thinking about whether it's for Joe or Trump or something like that. I really am thinking it might have been that way. I'm sorry, Aaron. You're gonna have to rub his leg down. Either way, We have one last story I want to highlight real quick. We've just got a brief show for you guys today. Aaron says I'm traumatized now. You might be pretty traumatized in comparison to these folks here as well. Ed Buck, who I didn't know who it was, but I've been seeing it on Twitter, was an associate of Hillary Clinton's, has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for abuses that led to men's drug deaths. This is some scary stuff. I haven't jumped into this story, so we're going to jump into it together, because I wanted to say, but I don't know much about this one, so I wanted to just learn about this together and see what we're dealing with here. Ed Buck, once a fixture of West Hollywood's political scene, was sentenced Thursday to 30 years in prison for drug and other crimes that included providing lethal doses of meth to 2 men. To the outside world, Buck was a champion of causes such as fur bans and AIDS awareness, and a donor to Democratic office holders. But behind the walls of his Laurel Avenue apartment was a nightmare. For nearly a decade, the wealthy white Buck lured young black men at their lowest points in their lives to into what he called party and play sessions. I gotta be careful with this one. Amid squalor that belied his reputation as a man who had achieved great wealth at a young age, Buck plied the men with drugs and then assaulted them while they were unconscious or immobile. In 2 cases, he injected his victims with fatal doses of meth. Lord. A jury convicted Buck last year of a host of felonies, including distributing meth, resulting in death, and enticement to cross state lines to engage in that. In the lead up to Thursday's sentencing at the federal courthouse in downtown Los Angeles, Buck lawyers had asked that the 67-year-old receive a sentence that would one day allow him to return to society, while prosecutors urged District Judge Christina A. Snyder to send Buck to prison for the rest of his life. Such a sentence was needed not only to punish Buck, they argued, but to protect the public. Let's see if there's any ties to Hillary, not directly in the article, of course, it's the LA Times. On Thursday, Chelsea Norrell, an assistant U.S. attorney, reiterated the need to put Buck behind bars for good, telling Snyder 1 death is a tragedy, but 2 is a pattern. Buck, speaking in a low, raspy voice, offered his condolences to the families of his victims, but denied he had caused their deaths, describing how he had spent much of his life advocating for political causes and gay rights. He asked that Snyder take a look at my life in total and not the horrible caricature that government painted me as, a meth-fueled axe killer. Before sentencing Buck, Snyder said his case was one of the most difficult and tragic she had ever presided over. What has happened here is reprehensible. Well, we're going to leave that story there. I don't want to dig any further into that. Let it be known that these people are up to some madness. Hollywood, DC, the swamp, as many would say it. Oh, man. I tapped out. I tapped out. I couldn't get any further into that article. I didn't think it was going to be so bad. I thought it was just going to be a little bit about drugs here and there, some of the mess. Not as bad as that. So clearly, I'm not prepared for all that. I try to look at things from the light side. I'm prepared to fight against that. And fight against it I will, at every cause and at every turn, whatever is necessary. I don't want to dig any further into that. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who's tuned into this show. Curzon, that is nothing to laugh at. I see you in the comments. I see you right there in the comments there. That is nothing to laugh at. That was gross. Curzon said Biden just said that in his speech. Was he friends with Epstein too? Possibly. West Hollywood and, the combination of Hollywood and politics, more than likely he had some connections, although you'll have to do that research yourself. I'm not digging any further publicly. That's just gross. That's just gross. I'm gonna step back and focus on my chocolate chip jokes because that's what I'm prepared for. I'm prepared for the Joe Biden, the
Rub my leg down.
and the chocolate chip. I'm prepared for that. Either way, we're gonna wrap the story up and we're gonna wrap the show up for today. Tomorrow is Good Friday, so we will not be streaming, but we will be back once again for a full week of shows next Monday. I promise we're going to bring every show to you guys that we can. Otherwise, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been tuned in. Thank you guys so much for giving and smashing that like button. I really appreciate it. I want to give a big thank you to our Hall of Heroes members up here, St. June and Inespo. If you guys didn't know, earlier today, St. June hosted a massive insurrection of our Hall of Heroes. So I want to give once again, a big shout out to him and also read out the message he left last time, which he says, Chandler, feel better soon. So big thank you to him. Oh, he's right here. Speak of the man. Speak of the Saint June in the chat. He says, Happy Easter. Yes, this Sunday will be Easter. I'm very excited for it. I'm going to be spending it with my family. We're going to have a great time. So big thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Thank you so much, St. June. I really appreciate it. You guys, there's going to be really great things coming from me very soon, and I cannot wait to share more. I want to, of course, I say it a million times, but thank you guys so much for your support. This has been an amazing honor streaming to this channel and having you guys here with me. There's no changes that will be happening yet, but I cannot wait to see you guys and see what for you guys to see what we have coming very soon. Keep an eye out on all my platforms. That is Gitter, Twitter, Telegram, Rumble, you name it, I'm there. Make sure you search me up, follow me there. Don't miss out on anything of what we're up to. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, Free Thinkers, which is next Monday at 3. Don't forget to spread the arts of intelligence. Peace out. Have a great weekend, a great Friday, a great Easter, and good night.